Hey there, welcome in. My name's Josh and this is Technical Tuesday, and today we are talking about the selection tool, the circular marquee tool, basically the marching ants, anything that has this little perimeter selection tool. It's like, what is that? How is it useful? Today we're going to be talking about it. Basically, this is a good way for selecting anything that you want to edit or modify in your piece, and there's three big ways you can do this. You have the rectangular marquee and elliptical marquee or circular marquee. And if you use to square, you can left click and drag to make a square. If you hold shift, it can make it equal on all sides. Same with the circle, right click and go over here, hold shift, or you can let it go and it can become an oval, up to you. And then we also have the magic wand over here, which also functions as quick selection. So, and then the last one is the lasso. So these three right here at the top are your go-tos for selecting things. So something that's really handy though is that if you press Ctrl Alt Shift and K, it comes up with your keyboard shortcuts, and Photoshop is all about the keyboard shortcuts. Go up here and go to the application menu. You want to go to select down here, and there's a couple things we want to address. The first is deselect, and that is to get rid of all the things that, you know, the marching ants are walking around, anything that is currently selected. For me, I have that for Control D. So I would advise changing that to something that you would remember. Control D works great for me. And then if you go all the way down here to modify, you have expand and you have contract. And I have that for Control E and Control W. And that's really, really handy. That I'll show you. Normally you would have to, you know, you can do all these things without the shortcuts, but it saves you time and increases your productivity in your workflow if you just do the shortcuts. So with that being said, if you hold down shift right here, right, for your circular marquee, or yeah, circular elliptical marquee, and then you fill it with the paint bucket tool by pressing G. Now normally, if we don't have deselect, you would hit right click or press M to go back to the circular marquee, right click, and then hit deselect. But if you have it on D, you can just keep it on your paint bucket tool, press Control D, and you're done, just like that. Press Control Z to go back to it. Now, when I talked about the expand and contract, if you do either of these, you can contract the selection with, for me, is Control W, or you can expand it with Control E. And what that does is it increases how big your selection is, or it makes it smaller. And the cool thing with that is that if I just contracted it and I press delete, and I press Control D to deselect, and I have a perfect circle. Just like that. I use this when I draw the base of heads sometimes. But this also works if you want to just expand it just a little bit more, make it a little bit bigger, or you want to have an outline or something. So like you could do this, make it red, and then contract it, go back to black. There you go, now you have a red outline. Really easy, took half a second. If you didn't do that, you might have to try to draw again, hold and try to transition this or move it, or fill it, and it's kind of a mess. So expanding and contracting your selections make it super, super easy. Lasso tool over here, you can, same thing with selections just like this. Works for any of them. Contract that selection by this much, by that much, right? Expand, it's totally up to you. That's kind of your bread and butter. And then also, as a final note, if you're magic wanding over here by pressing A, that's for me. That's what my shortcut is. You can choose how selective you want it to be. So for example, right now I'm on tolerance is 100, which is kind of hard to select things on this gradient, but if I select it down to say 5, it becomes a lot more selective, and I can actually get in here to choose things. So say I like this, but I want a little bit more. If you press shift, you can add it. If you press alt, you can get rid of it. See the little plus and the minus? And then also this still works by expanding or contracting your selection. Alt click, left click, whatever. So yeah. Selection is really, really useful, really, really handy. You can use it to replace the sky, to select something. Also, a good thing to keep in mind is that if you have 2 different layers here, you can select everything that's in that layer just by right-clicking the layer itself over here. So instead of going through and magic wanding and trying to click this and then holding shift and clicking this and holding shift and clicking this, you can just hold control and click on the icon, and it selects everything at once. So that's another good reason to keep your layers organized and separate over here. So if you have something over here, you can make it, you can do this, and then you can select everything here, or you can select everything here, or both, So that's the selection tool. That's the marching ants. Really, really helpful. Really, really handy. Again, Control-Alt-Shift-K brings up your shortcuts. You go to the application menu, go to select. You want to find deselect, and you want to find expand, and you want to find contract. All right. That's it for this Technical Tuesday. Hope it's helped you. If you like, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. You can find more of me over on my Patreon and follow me on my socials. Thanks again so much for watching, and I will see all of you next time.